Hello viewers, welcome back. In this session, we are going to discuss about the various storage mechanisms and how to store the data in the Android. We'll see how to decide the storage mechanism first. So what kind of the data you are storing, then which storage option suits better for our requirement. Now first we should decide the storage. For this, let's have a simple example of our kitchen at every home. So when you purchase groceries from the shopping mall or any store, so you have to store groceries, whatever you brought, like cereals and the millets, zira, rice, this kind of thing, liquid oil and all. So for these are all the different ingredients we have, and we need to store them accordingly. So for that, we'll choose the different containers actually. So Jira, the max you may purchase to 50 grams. So you'll use little small container. And when you want to store cereals or maybe the dal kind of thing, you'll use little bigger. And when you are storing a rice where you'll purchase at least of 25 to 50 kgs, then you need some more bigger. And for day-to-day usage to store the water, we'll use like 500 liters, 1,000 liter storage tanks. So means in our day-to-day life, so we have different containers to store different kind of data to utilize according to the requirement. The same way, first, when you are developing an application, so with the data storage, you should understand like what is our data storage is. Like here in Android provides several storage options for us to save the application's data or to provide the data to the application. So the solution we choose depends upon the specific needs. Like, okay, how will you decide your data storage? So the first one is what kind of the data you need to store. Depends upon that, you will choose a container. Just now I said like, so if you want to store a Zira, you'll choose a small container. If you want to store water, you'll choose bigger container. So you should understand what kind of the data do you store in it. Next, whether the data should be private to your application or public. So means the data, whatever has been accessed, that is available only for that application, not in any other manner. So accessible to the other applications as well means one application data to the other applications. Let us suppose you are going to get the data into a gallery or maybe go through the WhatsApp, whatever you get, it's all going to be stored in a gallery, or all the images I'm talking. So that can be accessible by other applications also through the gallery, which is nothing but the public. So means that should be accessible by the people or any access access restrictions might be there for the data. Depends upon that you're going to choose this particular storage mechanism. And finally, how much space is required for the data. So depends upon that also you should decide the storage. The same. If you want to store water, you need a big container. If you want to store cereals or dal, you need a little, so I mean 1 feet to 1.5 feet container, something like that. That is where it's going to play. Deciding the storage is going to play a crucial role. Now, what are the different storage options are provided by the Android? The first one is shared preferences, internal storage, external storage, SQL database, network connections. Now let us see one by one brief. So shared preferences, the name itself is given shared preferences. The shared preferences use it to store the private primitive values or the private primitive data in the key value page. Nothing but what private means, it is something you understand it's as personal. In my case, it is only accessed by the application. So primitives. So in Java, C, C++, in any language, Python, we have some primitive data types predefined. They are like string, int, boolean, long, float. These are all the primitive data types. So according to the data what you are storing, we will choose the respective, and the size of the data will choose this particular data type. So where for this the data is going to be stored in a key value pair mechanism. Something like what if I say okay your admission number colon you're going to give something. If you say when you're about to join in the college after the counseling, so where you are going to provide your application details, all the details like name, father name, age, gender, all ticket numbers, about to which course you are pursuing, all this. The same way, there will be like name, so your first name, last name, your last name, age, your age. That is where key is nothing but your age, first name, last name. The values are like what? The value of the first name, the value of the last name, and the age value. So that's where it's going to store the data in a primitive data types. So this particular data, whatever you are going to store, is persist across the user sessions. So if you see, that is, we call it as session management technically, where you will see this for your regular applications like Gmail, WhatsApp, Facebook, and all. You just logged in once and still it is continuing. That particular session is nothing but means that particular session is running. That's nothing but what we call session management. So this is data will persist across the user sessions. Once your application is killed, then the data will be killed. We'll discuss in detail about this, how to handle all of them and how to add the data using this particular strings and all in our future sessions. Internal storage. So this internal storage, by name itself you'll understand, storage of internal. So this is used to store the private data on a device memory. Means on the device. Internal means on device. When you purchase your mobile, you'll see like 32 GB internal storage, 64 GB, something like that. What does it can contain? The internal storage is good to store the ad hoc data. So something like what images, music, simple data files are going to be stored in this particular internal storage. And so this is nothing but where you'll go to in your mobile files. So file structure, inside that you're going to see the data, how usually it happens. That is about this I'm talking. And the data in the internal storage is private to the application. Means once the application is killed, so then you're going to lose the data. Or if you erase the database, the data will be so closed. Means the storage data. Next, external storage. So external storage is used to store the public data, which is large, means large in size. To understand easily, we can say like media files, high-end resolution images, videos, regular videos, such kind of things will be through the SD card. So that is nothing but what we call it as secured digital card. In the common day-to-day life, we call it as SD card, but technically it's a secured digital card. So to share the large amount of data with the other users, external storage is the best way to store the data. Next, the example is nothing but log file with coordinators of your location that the user has to share with, or maybe you can see mobile videos also comes under this, where the data size is huge. SQLite database. You already might heard of SQL, structured query language. So this is the lightweight version of that structured query language. So this SQLite database is used to store the relational data. What is meant by relation? Basically, the father relation or sibling relation. The same way here, it depends upon the relationship of the data. We'll store this according to the requirement. Means like when it is like the best example, always I consider that as a students marks list or maybe their entire information in the university site. So what will be there? So it is going to be all the columns are common for every student. So like first name, last name, age, address, subjects, or class pursuing, something like that will be there. So means the structure is already predefined. The data is keep on pushing in and pulling it from the databases. So the database that we create for an application is only accessible by itself. The other applications will not be able to access. That's where it is going to be private to that particular application. Once you uninstall the application, so then you will lose the data. Means that particular database will be lost. Example here, to store the results of students in a college or a university, it will give you all the information like so how to send, how to retrieve and all, what are the key classes available. We'll discuss all this in the future sessions. Finally, network connection. Name itself is defining. So network means, so you can store the data somewhere in the servers which is in a different location, not in India. So you are trying to fetch, let us suppose the best example, Google, a Gmail app in your mobile. When you click on Gmail icon, so though you do not have internet connection, it will show you the data because so previously it has been there connected. And whenever the data has been updated, automatically it depends upon the network connection and the bandwidth, it's going to be fetch the data. So this to store the data on the web with our own networking servers, will prefer network connections and will use the web-based services, nothing but web services, to store and retrieve the data to that particular network connection data item, whatever it is, the storage mechanism. It is going to be connected through the web services. We have like JSON web services, and this we are going to discuss in detail in the future sessions. So that's all about the various types of storage mechanism available in the Android. Thanks for watching, guys. Let's catch up in the next session.